isn't jacked up over here? Anything that I'm aware of? Yeah, you like that? I am shocked. I am shocked. I did that in AI. I was like, I need a picture real quick. So I did it in AI. And then it threw this up there. And I'm like, first off, it spelled things right, which I was shocked over. And then I was like, oh, okay, everything's good to go. So, but then I lied because I said 7, but it's not actually 7. It's
8.
Yeah.
Well, that's my fault, though.
Oh, no, it's not necessarily your fault because I'm the one, you told me what time, and then I just put up there 7:00 for some reason. I was like, I don't know why.
Yeah, you told me, and initially you told me 7:30. So like, okay.
All right. Well, it looks like we are good to go on Facebook. I went ahead and just loaded up Restream like in olden days.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to see anything but what we're doing right now because I don't want to try to split screen and get crazy.
Let's see. Okay, that's not going to work on Facebook. What if I do? All right, give me a sound check real quick, Erica.
Check 1. Check.
All right, let's see if that works. So far, we got 2 people watching over there.
In Rumble? Wait, are we live? Can they hear us?
They can hear us. Yes, they can hear us.
Oh, fantastic.
I guess I should have told you that. I mean, they didn't hear any of the other stuff you said before I went live. Don't worry about that.
How long have we been live? No, I'm just kidding. It's fine.
2 seconds? I don't know. I actually don't know. I'm trying to see if Facebook it can hear you right now because this whole thing with Rumble and not hearing Facebook and all that is nuts. I don't understand.
Wait, so am I supposed to be talking so it can hear me? Or it doesn't matter, you already figured it out.
I don't think I figured it out. Hold on. All right, talk for me real quick.
Okay. Can you hear that?
Let's see.
Check. Hello. Yes? No?
Hold on, let me see. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and end this stream over there because it's not working. So I'll back out of that. And then I will go to, all right, we're on Rumble right now. That's going to be what we're on because we're pretty much exclusive over there almost. But there in YouTube.
To work.
Yeah, for real. Oh, man. It looks like it's like going to be just me and you talking all night with nobody else in the chat.
Looks like what?
All right, okay, it's going to be like just you and me. It's going to be all it is. Like nobody's going to join the chat on Wednesday night.
Okay, well, let me know if you see anybody else because I can't see it. So.
No, we've got 3,000 viewers. Just going to lie to you from now on.
Awesome. That's fantastic.
Okay, there we go. All right, here we go. Welcome to the Breakdown, everybody. This is Aaron Barker broadcasting from an undisclosed location deep behind enemy lines, asking the questions that get you kicked out of Bible study. and sent to therapy. Thank you all so very much for the opportunity to be in your vehicle, residence, warehouse, farmhouse, in-house, outhouse, or doghouse, wherever it is you may be listening to the breakdown this evening. That's right. This is a special midweek episode. If you are listening to us on the Crusade Channel live at crusadechannel.com, and you're like, what? Wednesday? It's Saturday. That's right. Typically, we're live on Saturdays, but I have a teenager that's turning 16 tomorrow, so I am pre-recording because there's a birthday party and all that stuff Friday night, and I can't record with her and all of her teenage friends around all over the place on Saturday morning. So, but anyway, so that is why you're hearing this. If you're joining us on this wonderful midweek episode, we greatly appreciate that. A lot of stuff we're going to be talking about tonight to get into, and on top of all of that, we will be discussing the whole wide weird world in which we're living. And of course, as always, joining us is Misinformation herself, the lovely Erica Sauer. Good evening.
Good evening.
So a lot of things happening, going on. I know that, I know that there's a wrench that's been thrown into this because it's not on Saturday. But the fact that we are able to come together in the middle of a week and just have a great conversation. I'm stalling right now. But regardless, we have some people in the chat already. Jay Sparkles is over there. Good evening. How are you? Now, she did send me something the other day. And it was about the topic after you left the show Saturday, Erica. It was the we were talking about some suffering. She sent me a reminder. That's not going to be tonight's show. That'll eventually be on there, but thank you so much for the reminder on that. But let's just go ahead and dive right into the chum bucket here. And dig into the internet's most fascinating accounts of the world in which we live. Now, Erica, are you a dinosaur lover? Do you like dinosaurs at all? Jurassic Park, anything like that?
No, you're cutting in and out, so I'm not sure. Could you ask me that question again?
Oh, yeah, you're cutting out pretty bad on me too here. So let's do a quick check. We might have to start over on this. So do you like dinosaurs?
Oh, I mean, in particular, I like T-Rex. They're pretty cool.
I mean, yeah, not like hey, we're gonna go out and party with T-Rex or anything like that. But like, there are people out there who are dinosaur freaks and people that love it. They love Jurassic Park. Got a little bit of a story coming up on that next. But here's an interesting world record, and I hope that you can see this, Erica, when I pull this up here. But this is a very interesting world record that was set, of course, in no other place but Florida itself. The Florida Science Center, according to a local media report. They had a weirdly historical moment occurred last Friday evening at the Cox Science Center and Aquarium, which worked out with the city of West Palm Beach to pull off this feat. Here is exactly what they decided to do. They were able to set the only for this. Come on. All right. It is not letting me do this. Hold on a second here.
What'd you do?
Are you freezing up or am I freezing up, Erica?
I don't know. I can't tell. I thought I was good.
All right. Okay. Hold on for me just a second here. I'm gonna you can talk to the audience if you want. I'll be right back.
Okay. I'm going to talk since you left me here. Although I don't even know, I might be the problem. He asked me if I like dinosaurs, you guys. I like dinosaurs. They're fine. I don't have anything against dinosaurs. I feel for the T-Rex. He's got small arms. I feel like we know each other a little bit. I don't really know where he was going with the whole dinosaur thing, so I can't touch on that. How's everyone's week? Hopefully better than mine. I had a day today, y'all. A day. Okay? Like one that you don't even want to talk about. It's ridiculous the amount of stuff that I have to deal with. I have a new found hatred for lawyers. Unless they're mine, then I'm okay with it, I think. But I'm done with the general public overall. In case you guys are having a good Wednesday. I mean, I hope the next half of my week goes better for sure. Although I'm not on fire like they are in California, so there's that. I'm not burning. I hope he's going to fix his Wi-Fi because I think I'm good. Timmy, I don't think anyone's sucking my bandwidth. Oh, wait, this is the wrong show for that. We can't be talking about that on here. I do not love lawyers. We're not tired, and I do not. I only like my lawyers. I don't like anyone else's. I'm with you, Jamie. I'm over it. I'm ready to go straight to Friday. I'm on my phone right now. I don't even have my laptop. It's got this weird phone stand thing going on right now. I'm on my earbuds. This is pure chaos. Oh, now I'm a lawist. That might be one of the nicest things I've ever been called to me. I don't want, it's too early in 2025 for me to be talking about my list of hatreds. I feel like that's a problem. We're not even 1 month in and I have a list. I think that's an issue. We're gonna, I'm gonna get in trouble. I don't believe you, Timmy. I don't believe that at all. I don't believe you say it under your breath. I'm pretty sure you just say it. That's not real. Oh, did you fix it? Yeah, newfound hatred is that you can add it to the list of reasons that I hate lawyers. Seriously, right? Like I now know that literally the reason that that judges get mad at people is discovery. Um, I know most of you guys know what that is, right? Like when you have to provide information to the opposing lawyer because they asked for it, right? And they can ask for anything they want, and you're stuck there either providing it or you're stuck there saying, you don't have the right to ask for this and I'm not giving it to you. I think judges hate that. I think the judges hate the people who force that and go extreme to punish people. And I think I don't know. Maybe I should go to law school. Maybe I'm missing my calling because I'm pretty sure I could argue. Maybe. I don't know. Oh God, Timmy. Yeah, you did say that and you're out of control. I couldn't be a judge either, Jay, because I don't think I could be impartial. I got opinions. I got opinions and I don't throw them off very easily. And I like to talk about them. Aaron's gonna die when he goes back and listens to the fact that we're 13:35 live. Although I could, I don't know, would I rather be the judge or the lawyer? I don't know. I mean, I think it's relative. You don't know, right? People ask for stuff, it's junk. No, I said pinions, Timmy, not minions. I got pinions, no minions. I need some minions. I'll put a sign up list. Do you want to sign up to join my minions, Timmy?
I'll join your minions. Gosh, just an absolute craziness going on. I am gonna have I plugged in enough to hear you say something about being a lawyer, and then Aaron's gonna kill me or something like that when he goes back and listens. And now I'm like, I gotta go back and listen to that for the replay.
I'm like, because I really just had a conversation with Timmy and J May and whatever we're putting in the chat. Because I can see the chat if I click over here on my phone. And I was talking to him about how I'm all
Nice.
gangster. I'm gangster with my phone today. I don't have my stuff together because of the lawyers. That's who
So
got
how
me
does
out of
it
my
work
head
out there?
today.
How does my camera look over there? Is it freezing up or anything like that for those listening live?
It's not anymore. It was bad.
Okay. I'm not sure what happened there, but we'll try to fix. Okay. Here's what I think we can do. I think I'm just going to go back and restart the show that way, but I'll keep everything you said when I was on. So don't worry about it. It is preserved.
I didn't say anything bad. I didn't even swear.
Good. Well, how is the audio quality out there, Timmy?
Can you hear me? Because Timmy says the video quality is bad.
Yeah, I saw that. He said the video. He said it's back there. He said audio is fine. You know what? We might just go old school on this and just kill the camera so it's not draining the memory from the computer. I don't know if that's going to fix the stream or not. I think if we just maybe if we just audio, I'm not sure.
You want me to just kill mine?
I think I'm going to do the same to mine.
Okay.
Let's try it out and then see how it goes. And we can still do I can still do the presentations and such. So what I'm going to do though is
I totally lost you.
all right.
Oh,
All right,
wait,
Erica. Here
maybe
we
you
go.
weren't talking. Okay.
I am talking now. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, good deal. All right, here we go. Welcome to the Breakdown, everybody. This is Aaron Barker, broadcasting from an undisclosed location deep behind enemy lines, asking the questions that get you kicked out of Bible study and sent to therapy. Thank you all so very much for the opportunity to be in your vehicle, office, residence, warehouse, farmhouse, henhouse, outhouse, or doghouse, wherever it is you may be listening to the Breakdown this evening. We're very happy to have you all joining us and very happy to be broadcasting over on the Crusade channel, live radio the way it should be, as well as broadcasting on Rumble. You can also catch up with the show at Substack by going to aaronbarker.substack.com. I actually uploaded the show this week on Substack. So I was proud of myself. Yes, I was proud of myself. And but that voice you hear there is the lovely misinformation herself, Erica Sauer. Good evening, Erica.
Good evening.
So it's an interesting week, a lot of interesting things going on, some very good things to be getting into. We're going to be talking a little bit about the fire stuff going on out of California. You and I were conversing today about the Hegseth's hearing and the confirmation hearing that they're going through with that. We're going to hit some Zuckerberg stuff, hopefully get to some bad theology, and then talk about some weird sunken worlds that I wanted to talk about last week, but we didn't get a chance to. So all of these things we're going to try to get. It's an insurmountable feat. I always try to do, and that's the one thing. Whenever I ask somebody about show prep or doing radio, I always ask them, like, how do you do show prep? Do you have a template? Is there something where they're like, always prepare more than what you're going to talk about? And I'm like, well, that's really not, I mean, it is really good advice, actually. I shouldn't say that. But anyway, so let's check this out. I like dinosaurs. Dinosaurs are fun. They're cool. We hang out all the time. We're buddies, pals, especially the Velociraptor and I. And now this is not to mention the fact that they updated Jurassic Park to what they called historically accurate velociraptors. But here's this. That's not what this story is about. This story is about the Cox Science Center and Aquarium, which is down in Florida. They came together to, well, not only create but break a world record. That was a world record for, according to the newsman, for like 30 seconds or something like that. Let's check this out.
Was made tonight in downtown West Palm Beach.
And what a history it was. The Cox Science Center Aquarium, with the help of the city of West Palm, has done the unthinkable, breaking the world record for the most people dressed as dinosaurs. This record goes back centuries or perhaps weeks. The old record was 200 something.
252.
But it's 468 tonight. The great Lana Clematis breaking the Guinness World Record, shocking the world.
Today, Science Center and the city of West Palm Beach, you achieved a grand total of 468 people. Congratulations to you all. You are officially amazing.
So all these people got together and they had the world record for dressing up in dinosaur costumes. And it's like the Halloween, like the blow up costumes too, that you bounce around in on Halloween. That's
Yeah.
so awesome.
I mean, that's fun. I like that. My daughter dressed as that blow up T-Rex one year, her and her friends. There was 3 of them, and I have video of them running down the street in the neighborhood on Halloween. It's hilarious, actually.
They're making those in all kinds of things now. I wonder if they make one. I would love to get it, but the inflatable costumes are really popular now. I would love to get the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man if they have that. Wouldn't that?
Wait, do they have that? I don't know if they have that.
Wait,
how do they not?
They do. It's $300.
Well, yeah, because it's the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. I mean, that takes some work.
Oh my goodness, man! You know what? All they have to do is just wear a blue bib and a hat.
Wait, hold up. Wait, does it come in kid sizes? Because imagine me as the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
I think they do.
It'd be like the little version, Stay Puft Marshmallow Child.
Here you go. Actually, I pulled this up, and there it is right there. A little angry. That would be you. Facial expression and everything. A little angry Stay Puft Marshmallow woman.
There we go. That's perfect.
They would be like, oh, it's the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. You're like, I'm a woman. Don't misgender me.
It's ma'am.
It's ma'am. Stay Puft Marshmallow, ma'am.
Ma'am.
Oh, that's awesome. I mean, that would be so fun to dress like that sometime, because I've seen those costumes. They look like a lot of fun. But I mean, they've got all kinds of different ones like that. But this, I mean, now if they did a world record for all like inflatable Stay Puft Marshmallow Man's costumes, I would do that in a heartbeat. I would be all over.
Yeah, I bet you'd get way more than 500 people if you did that. I think you would have a lot more than 500.
How can you not? And and then you can have like the Ghostbusters there. Like we have like this. I think every city has them, but like the Ghostbusters Club. Have you ever seen those with the weird cars that drive around and stuff? Not the Ecto, like the Ecto wagon or anything like that. But it's like you know what I'm talking about? Am I making sense here?
No. I mean, I know what the Ecto wagon looks like. I have a friend who drives a hearse, but there's a cooler in it in the back where the coffin would be. And you open up the coffin and it's full of beer. It's like a tailgate hearse. It's a tailgate hearse. It's a tailgating hearse.
Well, they've got like they've got a lot of these cool, like, they have like these like SUVs that are decorated. This one that has around that looks like all of that stuff that for the Ecto wagon all over it, but it's an SUV. I wish I had a picture of it that I could show you, but it's really cool. But that'd be great. You can organize with them and have them there when you're doing the Stay Puft Marshmallow. That'd be great.
I'm sure that plenty. I mean, that's a cult classic right there, Ghostbusters. So you'd probably have a lot more people coming out than just bring your blow up T-Rex costume and show up. Like that would be huge. That'd be like Woodstock.
I would definitely be a part of that. I would try to spend the $300 on that to do that. On something that's just as almost as creepy, the cicadas are coming back. They are emerging this year. They're the second largest group of periodical cicadas, known for their noisy mass emergence from the ground, is the only group of 17-year cicada that will emerge this spring. That's according to the University of Connecticut, so it has to be right. They live underground, of course, we know all that. And they don't know when exactly they'll be here in 2025, but they are coming again. Those crazy sounding little critters with leaving all the awesome little things behind. What do they call those things that they leave? Exoskeletons behind when they molt and all of that stuff. That would be awesome. But anyway, to molt. I would love to molt. That's what I'm saying. But yeah, so they're coming back. I have no idea why I said that would be awesome.
I don't know if you would really like that.
I guess it's a fetish. Like molting out of my skin is some kind of weird fetish that I have. But they're coming back this year, so brace yourself for that. That's going to be a lot of fun. All right, so I tried to, I guess because of the mood tonight with how the broadcast has gone so far, I'm just going to go ahead and get into this. Fires out in California. All kinds of conspiracies are being raised about this. We've got direct energy weapons. We've got folks that are saying it was started by illegal immigrants. We have people saying it was due to poor trimming of trees and raking of what did that guy say that all the forest rangers do or whatnot is just rake the forest floor.
The forest clearing that you're supposed to do.
Yeah. So I think one of the big things about it that I have a weird a thought about is how a lot of these insurance companies cancel the policies of people who live out there. Now, if it's wrong for whomever you do to do it to. I mean, if it's an actor that has millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars, whatever, it's wrong regardless of who you do it to. When I see stories like what I'm about to show, I think that this is the reason that a lot of CEOs have to run and hide. I think this is the reason why they need to free Luigi, because it's not so much about it's about the people. It's not about the fact that they're millionaires and people are communists. It's about the fact that a lot of these insurance companies are scum suckers. Check this out. This is a video of a family. This starts from the beginning of when this family goes back to their house for the very first time after the fire. And here's their story. All right, here we go.
To find a baby.
I'm going to play an ad first. That's fantastic, even though I played through the ads. Anyway, this family is going back to their home. I know this firsthand, of course. I watched our house burn down. We watched it burn down across the street. One of the neighbors allowed us to come in and sit down. But you look at these mass devastation events like this, massive hurricanes, massive flooding, massive tornadoes. Our house burned down. It was the only house that burned down. The neighbors next to us were displaced, still displaced.
Eyewitness News reporter Leanne Suter.
But the horrible feeling you have watching it burn down. Well, this video is of the people returning to it for the first time since it burned down.
Live on the ground where one of the families impacted got their first look at what's left of their home. Leanne.
Mark, as you can see, there is very little left of the Sawyers' home here, just the shell of the outline of the building. They lived here with their 3 youngest grandkids and their 87-year-old uncle, all now homeless. Gut-wrenching tears at the first sight of what used to be Lydia Sawyer's Altadena home.
I'm just heartbroken. This was my grandchildren's home, everybody's home, basically. Big family, a lot of memories.
Lydia, her husband Tom, and 87-year-old uncle Richard Castaneda all shared the home, along with the Sawyers' 3 youngest grandchildren whom they are taking care of, 10-year-old Ariel, 5-year-old Avery, and 22-month-old Aaron.
What am I going to do with my kids, my grandkids? That's I didn't know how to explain to them. I don't know how. I still don't.
They keep asking when are they going to come home. And I just have to keep it positive and tell them that it's gone.
The blower. I mean,
so that I mean, it's heartbreaking to watch this video and to see the family go through this.
Yeah, I mean, excuse me. Oh my goodness. I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine. Right? Like So you have these people that now they're completely displaced, right? Is this family one of the ones where their insurance was canceled, like just prior to all of this happening? There were hundreds, right?
Their insurance company told them that they would not be covered because they were late on their last payment. Would be late because they were late on their last payment. Now so now this family returns to this devastation. Now I look at that. Insurance companies bet against you, and they are not for you. They look for ways to not help out. I mean, I understand Timmy's putting in the chat right now. He's saying that the companies would go bankrupt and the rebuilding costs would be over $300 billion, not counting all the additional costs, etc. But that is, I just look at that. It breaks my heart to see things like that. And on a smaller scale, when you say much smaller scale than this, you see it happen when people's insurance claims are canceled, or they're prohibited from getting coverage. And then you wonder, I mean, not really, but you see why people make the moves that they did. Like somebody like, whoever it was that took out that CEO for whatever reason, but we're being told it was because of coverage. You look at that and it's like, you got sympathy for that. Your insurance is being canceled. People are not allowed, or you're not able to, to rebuild your home where your grandkids live with you. This is all just a devastating move. And to think that this is legal and allowed to happen in the United States of America, I mean, it's enough to make you go insane. I believe it's enough to make me go insane. It just drives me. I mean, maybe I'm off on this. Maybe I'm being a little too liberal on this, or a little bit too. I don't know, Eric. Am I wrong here?
No, okay. So it's a contract. You signed it. You are responsible for knowing the parameters of it. If you make a payment that is late, but they made the payment, right? Like it's going to be specific to every single case, and they don't want to have to pay you, right? I mean, you're forced to get insurance by either your mortgage company or the government for your health, or in whatever case, whatever the type of it, you're forced to get auto insurance if you want to drive. So you're forced to get it. So you get it, and then the worst happens, and they don't want to pay out because you were late. Now for non-payment, that's how it goes, Aaron, right? Like, you signed a contract. If you don't pay it, then you're not going to have coverage, and that sucks, right? For this, you would think that they would make some sort of accommodation, like, or do they always pay late? I would think that it would get looked at in a different way. But what I found to be the most interesting is there's a specific insurance company, or are we just not wanting to name them?
I don't think it says. It just says that their insurance doesn't say who it was.
Well, State Farm is the insurance company that just prior to all of this going down, canceled, several thousand people's insurance in California because of cost that was being forced on them by regulators, right? So State Farm came in and canceled all these policies, and hundreds of them were in the Palisades. And then subsequently, all of these houses have now burned down, and they have no insurance because they were canceled by their insurance company. This happened recently, like within the last couple months.
Yeah, and it wasn't just in the Palisades, right? It was in multiple places.
Oh no, yeah, it was in multiple places, but I think there were like 134 homes or of these policies that were in the Palisades that were where their policies with State Farm had been canceled.
And I understand. I understand that this is a contractual thing. I totally get that. What it just like there's there should be something there.
I think that there should be that the state of California should not have been able to put those stipulations on the insurance company, forcing them to cancel the policies. I definitely am on the conspiracy train that this was forced, that it was done on purpose, that it was executed with precision for a specific reason.
Yeah. Yeah, it's there's not. It's difficult because I know that I tend towards and bend towards the conspiracy theory side of things. I readily admit that. And I know that sometimes I'm a little bit off on things. But when you look at situations like this, you're like, all of these things coming together at one time. It's either the perfect storm or it was planned or something was going on out there. And then you look at like Klaus Schwab, they were talking about California and how California is going to be pretty much the exemplar for automated vehicles and not having any emissions and walking everywhere, and then removing any kind of carbon emissions into the atmosphere, et cetera. And it was specifically around these areas that are now burning, and we're being told that there's a reset, et cetera, that's coming to this place. And then it happens. And people pull out, like the insurance companies, they drop their coverage on that, or maybe they make their guidelines for payments a little bit too stringent. But all these things seem to be working against all of the citizens out there and only benefiting, the elite. And
so then you look in the background and you look at the actual laws on the books, or the movements on the books, or the plans on the books that they have for that area, for what's supposed to be there. It's supposed to be the exemplary location of the first 15-minute city just in time for the Olympics. They're not going to resell. These people are not going to be allowed to rebuild.
No, they're not.
They're not going to be allowed to rebuild. And the government of California, the state, is going to take this land and they are going to put whatever they want in there for the 2028 Olympics. And in the midst of that, you will end up with your first 15-minute city where you don't need a car.
Now, and the 15-minute cities, obviously, you think about that, that's all about control. It's all about preventing people from associating with others. It's insane that they built the highway systems in this country. And the reason they built them was to have an easier way to transport the military from coast to coast, and top to bottom, front to back, however you want to phrase that. And now they're trying to consolidate people in smaller cities. And you think about that. So you look at the TikTok ban, which we're going to talk about. You look at the fact that there are 15-minute cities that are being implemented, and the carbon emissions that we've been told about for years. All of these are building up. It's small pieces of the puzzle that fit together kind of in a scattered way. And then you start to see a picture as you step back. But they're trying to make it easier for the military to be transported coast to coast. And they're trying to make it more difficult for us to band together. And that comes through TikTok. That comes through social media. That comes through the cities and our connectivity with others around us. I mean, you think about something like the Hunger Games, where they broke everybody down into sectors. I can't remember the exact phrase that they used in Hunger Games, but they were like different sectors in the world, especially here in the States. We'll go with that. But you were like from this place and the other place, and you had to communicate in a surreptitious way, or you had to find ways to connect with other people. That's what it's going to end up being like if we have these 15-minute cities cropping up all over the nation. These pockets of civilization are going to be cut off from the surrounding world. You're only going to be fed information that they want you to get. You're only going to be able to associate yourself with people with whom they want you to associate, and they're going to control all transportation. So, I mean, all of this seems to me like, and it's difficult for me not to think that these fires and the tornadoes are the flooding that hit North Carolina, which is not in a floodplain, and mountains being flooded, which hasn't happened since the global flood. And it's like all of those things are now happening in places where it benefits the elite. It's very, very concerning to me. And it's go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, North Carolina is what? It's what's there? There's something there.
It's lithium mine that they need for their cars, which they're pushing like crazy.
And the people didn't want to give up their land, so they took it with a fabricated natural disaster.
Exactly.
Okay. Hold on. Now, I'm not saying unlike North Carolina. Right, because I think they knew that what they were doing was going to cause devastation. Unlike that, in California, they had hope. They have the bad policies of the government. They have the underbrush. They have the so-called climate change activism, which is why they're doing it. I mean, the government's all too happy to say, let's get them into climate change, let's get them into this, and then we can blame everything we want to do on that, right? It's a perfect cover. It's not them, it's climate change. They have these extenuating circumstances out in California that tend to provide cover, right? Like if we didn't look at it and go, oh, is anyone not going to put together that the government in California has been trying to buy this land and nobody wanted to sell it to them, so they are going to take it, and here's the plan for the city. And where they already have the 2028 Olympics. That's already known. That's not like a if, that's a when. And they need to get moving. It's 2025. I mean, I honestly, they had the help of Mother Nature or like the natural crazy right or leftists out there that want all that climate change that helped it. It helped it, but I still think it was done on purpose.
And even when it comes to the climate change, and this is something that is no unfamiliar topic to our listeners out there. We have a very keen audience. So, the folks that are with us in Rumble right now that are listening to the breakdown, also those folks over at the Crusade channel, live radio, the way it should be. Thank you very much for joining us over on the Crusade channel as well. But most of this, well, not most of it, the man-made global or climate change is a real thing. And I will talk about that when we get back and some of the other Quotey Fingers conspiracy theories that surround what's happening out of California and elsewhere. So keep it locked in right here on The Breakdown. We will be back in just a moment.
Asking the questions that get you kicked out of Bible studies and sent to therapy.
You're listening to The Breakdown.
Am I a total nerd here, or is this old school approach to the radio freaking awesome?
Well, okay, I'm not familiar with it. Let's remember every time I do this, there has to be a camera on. So I'm fine with this.
Yeah, I mean, like, this
you know
is
how I
so
feel
cool.
about the camera.
I mean, I really, I've been thinking about this a lot lately. And, I was talking to Rocky yesterday. He gave, by the way, we're on break right now. The Rocky gave me this advice yesterday. He was telling me one particular thing. He's like, he's like, do this, but tell everybody you're going to do this. That way you hold yourself accountable and you have to do it. You set a deadline. And I'm like, man, that's good advice. So super encouraging conversation with him yesterday. He's just a man. That dude is awesome. But we were talking and he was like, so I'm going to do that. I have been for a long time. It's been one of my dreams in radio for years to have an overnight, like paranormal oddity, supernatural type show. And I'm really leaning towards doing it like this with no camera, just on Rumble and on Facebook and all that, with no camera, just the voice, like old radio was. And I kept making it dark down here where in my studio and just like going all in, right? And I'm like, so I'm going to put that out there to everybody. I'm going to be starting that soon. And I don't know how often I'm going to do it. I don't know. I think I've got a name for it, I think. But I'm going to be doing that soon. And this is really, really getting me excited about doing it. This is awesome.
All right.
So thank you for forgetting your laptop.
Right?
Yeah, this is really cool. Let's see here. We've only got a couple of seconds, I think. Welcome back to The Breakdown, folks. Thanks for staying with us during that break. Don't forget, if you go over to aaronbarker.substack.com, you can click on what is the link to that? Let me see here. Aaron Barker. Okay, Breakdown Outfitters, right in the middle of the top of the page. If you click on Breakdown Outfitters, it will take you to the Breakdown Outfitters shop. When you go to the Breakdown Outfitters shop, you can make our stuff your crap. And there's you get these while you can. This is the old school classic logo. This is back when Brian Jackson was with us, the bearded pastor, when he was hosted with us. The tinfoil hats, though, those are staying. Those aren't going anywhere. So get yourself a tinfoil hat. You support the show. You make sure that we stay on the air, and then you also have a great. It's a great hat. I love that hat. I had one of those hats. And then it went bye-bye. And here are the tinfoil hats that you've got one of these, don't you, Erica?
Yeah, I have a tinfoil bucket hat. I like it a lot.
Things are great. So if you want to jump over there, I've got to get on that. I was thinking about that the other day. I've got to get on that and design some new logos and get some things squared away on that. But that will definitely be something you want to grab a hold of, is to have the classic apparel from the breakdown. Some folks jumping in on the conversation here. Timmy's saying that California is going to hang Newsom and LA's leaders. Watch and see the protests start up. Jay Sparkles says Newsom has a fundraiser going on his campaign page to fund firefighting efforts through Act Blue. Wow.
That's disgusting. That's disgusting.
That is almost as bad. I mean, that is almost as bad as announcing that you've become a great grandfather while you're doing a press conference regarding the fire. Check this out. This is actually right now our fearless leader, who is currently Joe Biden. This is him during while the fires are burning out in California. Check this out.
We want to go for this soundbite because we were asking what Governor Newsom and President Biden have had to say about this afternoon. They made an opening statement briefly at this weather center, but here is part of the sound from Governor Newsom and then a family announcement from President Biden. Watch.
Good news is I'm a great grandfather.
Wait a second.
What?
He announces that he is a great grandfather during a press conference about fires destroying people's homes in California.
Oh my God. I don't even think dementia patients are that tone deaf. What in the world? What is he talking about? Come on, that's crazy. Why did they let him out anymore?
I don't know, but it says here, so they switch over to it, and he says, my son lives out here with his wife. They got a notification yesterday that their home was probably burned to the ground. But the good news is, he says here, the good news is I'm a great grandfather as of today. I don't know if it's
okay. You know what?
Family or what, but man, what a really crappy time to announce
Okay, no one's gonna like this, but I'm gonna defend the old man for a second. Okay, like let's just say, because he really does have Alzheimer's or dementia. Like that part, I don't think he's faking, right? So perhaps he's trying to say something like circle of life. In the midst of the darkest of times, the brightest of moments can happen, right? Like he's just leaving out that part because it happened in his head, but it didn't come out of his mouth. Maybe? No, I'm trying so hard today.
I don't know why you're trying so hard. But I know. I see what you're saying. I don't know why you, of all people, are trying so hard, but I do see what you're saying. I don't know if it's the same family, like, hey, their house burned down, but they had their child and their child is safe. Maybe it was something like that. If somebody wants to try to jump on that and find out for me, but I don't know if you're going to be able, Erica, to add a positive spin to pull an Aaron on this next one, because this next one, I don't understand. I really just don't understand this next one. There we go.
You want to see somebody that responds to your house, your emergency, whether it's a medical call or a fire call, that looks like you. It gives that person a little bit more ease, knowing that somebody might understand their situation better. Is she strong enough to do this? Or you couldn't carry my husband out of a fire, which my response is, he got himself in the wrong place if I have to carry him out of a fire.
What? Oh, I hope she doesn't show up in your house, right? I mean, oh my God.
She said that is the LAFD assistant chief. That is a female.
Not anymore. Is she still employed?
As far as I'm aware, Christine Larson is her name, and she says if he got himself in the wrong place, if I have to carry him out of a fire. I mean, just you talk about tone deaf. You talk about someone that you would think of all people, someone who has seen tragedy, travesty, destruction, death. I mean, lives burned to the ground, literally. You would think that somebody like this would be able to at least have some type of empathy, but rather than have the empathy, this person is more focused on her diversity. You know, I don't care if I'm in a car accident or a natural disaster or someplace where I found myself in a precarious situation and I need to be rescued. I don't care if the person is a man or a woman. I don't care if they're a fat white guy. I don't care who they are. As long as they can help me out of my current situation, I'm happy that they are there. You see what I'm saying? I mean, when they make this like, well, they want somebody that shows up at their house to let them know that they understand. No, I want you. I don't care about diversity when you show up at my house and it's burning down. I wasn't looking at the firemen to see if there were women, men.
Right?
I wasn't looking at anything. I was like, I was dealing with what was going on in front of me, and I didn't care what those people looked like.
No.
Like they showed up.
I don't care if
they had water.
You'd be a gaggle of little people dressed in Three Musketeers wrappers. I don't care who you are at that point. Like, yeah, I mean, I don't care who you are. You know, you could be Puff the Magic Dragon. You could be one of those people in one of those blow up T-Rex costumes. I'm not worried about it at that point.
You could be the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. I don't care who's in that.
Yeah, right. And by the way, I'm not the one who's supposed to know about the good spots to be in when there's a fire. So what? Like, I'm not a fireman. I don't know how I got myself in a bad spot. You're the one who's supposed to know that and get me out. Are you kidding me right now?
Yeah, I'm not one that thinks about that either. I don't. You know, if it's in the middle of the night. Now we were out of the house at the time. But if you all, I mean, like if a person's in their house in the middle of the night and a fire erupts, how is that your fault that you were asleep? You were doing what everybody else does at that time of night. You were going to sleep, you know, and it's like, oh,
and you got trapped.
Yeah. I mean, he was at the wrong time.
That's insane. That person should not have a job. Please tell me that this woman has been, it was a woman, right? Please tell me that has been roasted on the internet, because that's insane. I've been so crazy busy this week, I haven't even seen that. But I really hope that she was given her just due.
Let's see. I don't see any. No, it doesn't say former. As of 3 days ago, according to the New York Post, the LAFD's diversity chief, $300,000 per year diversity chief, sparks fury for defending DEI by blaming the victim. As Los Angeles battles its worst fires in history, the fire department's highly paid diversity head is facing an inferno of backlash after a bizarre comment surfaced in which she appears to defend DEI hiring by blaming the victims. So at this point, no, she is still employed. And
okay, wait, is she actually a firefighter, or she's just an administrator? She doesn't actually fight fires.
It's
right?
You know what? And now that I'm reading this, it doesn't, like she indicates in the video that her strength comes into play because people are wondering if she can carry somebody out of a fire. And that would indicate that she has been in a situation where she has to. But when you read that, like you're saying, this seems like this is a
It's like a desk job.
role. Yeah. Like she's never been close to a fire that's not in a fire pit at her massive
Right.
or something like that.
Right. She has no idea what it's like to be in an actual fire is what I'm guessing. Because how do you even just say that, right? I mean, you got yourself in a bad place if I have to carry you out. Meaning, I don't know shit. Oh, sorry. I don't know anything about fighting fires. And if I have to come get you, you're done. Like you're in a bad place. That's how I'm taking that now.
I mean, and that's diversity for you. That is this DEI when it comes to hiring in these positions. It doesn't matter to them whether or not they can actually perform the job. It only matters to them that they're diverse enough and appear diverse enough. So here's this.
Right.
I want to jump into this too before it gets too far away. Right before we went to break, we were talking about the fact that there's a big thing, the whole thing about climate change and the havoc that it's wreaking on the nation. I bought a really cool book. I was actually at the dollar store. I love going to the dollar store to check out their books. And I found this book, and it's called Hacking Planet Earth: Technologies that can counteract climate change and create a better future. It's a several hundred pages here. I'm going to read it not because I agree with it, but because I know that they're going to talk about geoengineering. I know that they're going to talk about stratospheric aerosol injections. I know they're going to have a host of different types of technological attempts to darken the sun and darken the skies, etc. And I would just like to point out that the people who are talking about climate change being lending a huge hand to the fires out in California are absolutely right. That is a man-made global change, man-made climate change. I agree with that 100%. But the man-made climate change is not through what they're talking about by cars or cow farts. It is a deliberate man-made intervention and a deliberate manipulation of Earth's climate. And that is done by drought creation that create favorable conditions for wildfires, obviously, weaponized disasters. So geoengineering is used, or it is because of the effects that they do when they throw all these chemicals into the atmosphere. This causes conditions that are ripe for fires like this. You see what happens when they use climate change and the ability to direct and modify weather. When we have massive hurricanes down in the southeast and on the east coast, where whatever your climate is, it is tipped in either direction by your manipulation with the weather. So that is what impacts this. So I agree that geoengineering is a massive play into this because it affects conditions and causes or prevents rain from happening, massive storms to be created, and droughts to be created as well. And it is infuriating to me that even after we see all of this, people are still being blamed. Like we're being blamed because we drive our cars to and from work, or tractor trailer drivers, truck drivers are being blamed because they use emissions, or NASCAR is blamed because of the amount of emissions that they create. And now everybody has to put carbon taxes or pay carbon taxes. All of that is just this massive ploy to make people feel really small, to siphon private funds and give it to the public quotey fingers employees, which are the bureaucracy of our government and of our nation. And it is obviously literally destroying by fires and massive weather perturbations people's lives and homes and everything. It is extremely disconcerting. Go ahead, Erica.
I've had one person question when I put up some conspiratorial notions on these whole things out in California, right? So his comment to me was, why? Because I was saying it was purposefully done by the government for a stated purpose. And he is saying, why would they want to make upset literally their largest group of donors? Hollywood. Like, why would they want to make, and that to me was so incredible. Not because I get what he's saying, right? I understand that. But do you think that they actually need their largest donors? Like, do you think that that's where we are right now? Because I think we're past that. I don't think they need them anymore.
Yeah, I mean that's yeah. I mean, I can see where that's coming from, but no, I think that there's a lot of advanced warning that goes out about these things. I mean, you have guys. Mel Gibson lost his house out there, but when you look at the fact that no ATF workers were at the Oklahoma City the building, the Alfred P. Murrah building out in Oklahoma City, the day of the bombing, they were all coming in late. I think that
Right.
the deep state lets their people know before because
Well, and not only that, okay, so then apparently no one in the Palisades or in the California fires was told to paint their house blue because those were the only ones in Hawaii that didn't burn down, right? So I guess all your homes were needed. Sorry, boo. Like, what do apparently they didn't get the message. And because it's not like, yes, there were a lot of right-leaning actors that were caught up in this because the area, you're bound to, just by statistics, have a certain number of conservatives living in any given area, right? Some it'll be more, some it'll be less, but you're going to have some, right? So you hit James Woods, and I don't think he lost his house, but you hit a lot of conservatives, but you also hit a ton of liberals. Right, like they weren't very strategic about it. That to me just indicates you are no longer necessary. If they needed your money, if they needed you as a voter, if they needed you, they wouldn't. It would be different. They don't need you. They don't need any of us.
Well, yeah, and maybe there's also, hey, we're going to burn that place to the ground, and now you're solidifying those voters because it's climate change that caused this. It's not a mismanagement of funds. It's climate change. We need to have stricter laws to prevent this from happening in the future. And the people who are now damaged because of that, the people who are now impacted because of that, are now going to support you even more and give you even more money out of what they have. I wonder what
From what I can tell, it's going in the other direction.
Well, maybe so. I mean, I haven't followed that aspect of it because honestly, what you said there, that's an interesting take that I haven't heard yet, which is really, really interesting. But maybe we should put that in the parking lot and look into that more because, so you're saying that there are people out there who are going the other directions?
There are calls for the mayor to resign. There are calls for the head of the fire bureau out there to resign. There's lots of calls for Gavin Newsom to resign, and they're coming from the left. They're not coming from the right. They're coming from the citizens of California saying, "Listen, buddy, like we get it, but this ain't cool." Like, it was fine when it was someone else's backyard, but they don't like it when it's their backyard. I mean, you remember how upset they were when all of the illegal aliens got flown to, where was it? Was it the Hamptons? Martha's Vineyard? Martha's Vineyard, right? They don't like it when you do it in their own backyard, and they're going to come after you whether you're their guy or not at that point.
That is crazy. Well, maybe we'll start seeing. Maybe the left will start to see, or some of those Hollywood elites will start to see that, hey, there's some things going on that we don't like, that we don't prefer.
I have heard rumblings of that, and we can talk about it more through the parking lot for sure.
Yeah, for real. I'm gonna make a note of that here. Where am I gonna make a note? I'll find a place. While I'm making a note, you are as well encouraged to go over to aaronbarker.substack.com, and you can also go over to crusadechannel.com, live radio the way it should be, and you can listen to the show over there as well as the fantastic programs that are on over there. Mike Church does his show every day, 7 a.m. Eastern time. on YouTube. So subscribe to the YouTube channel there and listen to the show. It's fantastic. Share that with everybody you can. And then, so I want to put here in the parking lot that lefty Californians are turning against lefty politicians. And we'll put that with a question mark, and we'll look into that. So let's see here what else we've got. The Walmart has revealed a new logo, by the way. And this
the Walmart?
I don't know why I said that. The YouTube, the
Walmart.
The oh my gosh. So here is, I'm going to show you this because it's so it's just wow. I see this new art and I'm like, man, this is fantastic. But I'm going to show you the new logo. So on the left, you're going to have the old logo. On the right, you're going to have El New logo. So let's share this here. I'm going to share that there. Here we go. Bam. Where are you? Share that. All right. This is awesome. Okay.
You guys have no idea. You can't see Aaron right now, but when stuff doesn't work, he makes really funny faces. So I'm sorry that you're not getting to see that right now.
Oh man, I tell you, the face, my share button is broke, Timmy. I don't know what the problem is here with this. It will not share. It's saying that it is, but I'm just going to have to go with it's not sharing. So here, you just look it up yourself. It looks the exact same. It's a little bit darker of a blue, and the little sun rays that come out of that are shooting out from the middle of the original logo are just a smidge fatter, and that's about it. And people they're like they're mad about this. They're saying somebody was actually paid. It's been for the first time in 20 years. It's been updated. Shoppers are stunned. According to the company, one of the key features of the refresh includes a word mark inspired by founder Sam Walton's classic trucker hat. It says here that, however, many couldn't see the difference. Walmart just unveiled a new logo. It looks the same. I can't believe someone got paid for this. I hope people will still be able to recognize that it's Walmart. And I guess they said they spent $2.1 million to change the shade of blue, which is pretty much what it is. And it would have been a lot better had I've been able to actually show you all what it looked like. But you know what? You can look it up. And that's right, Timmy. It is the theater of the mind. All right, let's see here. What can we jump into before?
Yeah, just imagine the Walmart, only bluer.
The Walmart. It is the Walmart.
I love that.
Oh, man.
I'm going to start calling it that now. That's like Target, the Walmart.
The Walmart. So here's this. I'm going to jump into this real quick because we do have a little bit of time before we go, but don't have a lot in bad theology this week because we had to pre-record. I'm just going to give you a really, really crappy excuse here. But I do have something in bad theology, so we're going to go ahead and do that.
You're teaching some bad theology. Your bad theology's annoying me. Oh, you're teaching some bad theology. Repentance is the only cure that you need.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for bad theology. Oh, man. Hold on just a second. Back. I just wanted to see if refreshing this would allow me. Doesn't matter where I'm there. I'm gonna see if refreshing this would allow me to share this anymore because I realized that this is a video that I have to share. And if my share button done got broke, I think it's gonna work. Oh, here we go. This is well, you know, for those ladies out there that are looking for a special man, you may have found him in Jesus.
What?
experience the romantic heart of God, you cannot go back to casual dating. I got out of a relationship a while ago, and when I did, I asked the Lord, can you teach me what it's like for you to be my husband? And before you get weirded out, it's because the church is known as the bride of Christ, and he's the groom. I wanted to know what it felt like to truly be pursued so that I knew what to look for in a future relationship. Let me just explain what God does so that you don't settle, because it's crazy. And I wish more people understood that God wants to romanticize your heart. He wants to win you over. He created you to delight in pursuit because he is the ultimate pursuer. We just get distracted. So the other day, for example, the Lord told me he was going to take me out to lunch, and I was like, okay. So I go to lunch with these people, and then randomly this person turns to me and decides to pay for my dinner. The other day, the Lord told me he was going to give me a flag. I was like, what? Didn't think much of it. A week and a half later, I wrote it down that he was going to give me this. Somebody pulls out a white flag and says, hey, I just feel like I'm supposed to give you this because it represents purity. The other day, the Lord tells me to take off my ring because he's giving me a new one. Someone hands me this.
There you go.
I mean, manifestation, right? She's manifesting it.
Sure. I mean, if you want to go with like the law of attraction type thing and speak it into existence and stuff, but I mean, like all this stuff really creeps me out whenever somebody is like, oh, Jesus he's just loving all over me last night. And he's so precious and heaven meets earth like a sloppy wet kiss and all of that.
What? No. Okay, hold on. She didn't have a flaming gay accent. Okay. She was just saying, no, I can't defend her. I'm sorry. It's terrible. I don't understand why you equate your relationship with Jesus Christ with sex. I don't understand equating it to a relationship in that way, to that type of intimate relationship.
So you're saying you can't see doing that? Is that what you said?
No, I cannot. I don't understand where she's coming from. I think she's crazy. I was going to try to defend her. I was going to try and be like, she's just trying to love the Lord. We just don't like the way she expresses herself. Or maybe it's just how she says it. Or maybe we're not her target audience. But I think she's full of it. That's terrible.
Midweek Erica is hella chill. You know that. Like you're super chill, like in the middle of the week. Maybe I pissed you off because you wake up so early on Saturdays for the show. But like you're like, I'm going to defend everybody tonight. Either that or you're just trolling me.
No, I'm riding the very thin line of losing my shit altogether or deciding to just, I'm trying. I'm trying. It's week 3. Come on.
You're doing great. You're doing great. And I appreciate that. You know what? The thing that bothers me is framing it with that type of relationship language, because I remember there was a pastor that I had the growing up, and he said praying and being with Jesus was the only way to describe it was like being with his wife. And I still to this day, 30 years later, get the creep vibes. All right, folks, this is hour 1. We'll be back in just a minute. Keep it locked in right here on The Breakdown. All right, we are on a momentary break, Erica. If you need to take a break, you're welcome to do so.
Okay, I'll be right back.
That sounds good. Yeah, Timmy, you did rub in the fact that you ate a whole rack of ribs a bit ago, and I'm very happy for you that you were able to partake in that, and hope it was enjoyable for you. Also, since we are breaking here, this is going to be an extended break for us tonight because I am... I'm just going to give you an extended break. If you go over to, I found this amazing, incredible, fantastic, awesome, wonderful, ridiculously talented channel on TikTok, which you can only enjoy evidently for the next couple of days. Called Cipher Tales, CYPHERTALES. Cipher Tales. There's a lot of these really cool, like dark fantasy small TikTok movie videos and stuff. So I would strongly encourage you to go over and check that channel out because it's awesome and I would appreciate it. So just started the channel. Not sure what's going to happen with TikTok, and we'll get Erica's opinion on that here when we get back. We'll talk about that. The TikTok ban that is coming up. Whether or not they're actually going to do the TikTok. And you know what? Pineapple on ribs, if cooked properly, I'm sure would taste amazing. And the pineapple with ham. Have you all ever had pineapple with ham? Look at this. I appreciate that. I don't know if you're just saying that to blow smoke, Timmy, but that is an amazing compliment. I like that because I'm digging this too. I'm serious about starting. Like right now, I'm going to go turn the other light off. But right now I've got one light that's on and it's like this green tint. So I'm going to turn the other light off so it's dark. And I'm going to just like make this like one of those weird, cool studio things here. But yeah.
Well, yeah, you don't have to make it weird, but I do like this.
Yeah, see, this is something we might have to talk about.
It's very natural.
It is. It's a lot of ease and natural conversation. But yeah, so Timmy says he's sitting on his floor, on his living room floor, with his legs crossed like a little Indian, enjoying
He's such a liar. He's full of it. That man cannot cross his legs, or we're calling 911. If he sits Indian style, we're going to be calling EMS.
All right, I'll be right back. Keep him entertained, Erica.
Well, without video, and I can't swear. No, I'm fine. Okay, pineapple with ham. Blech, that's disgusting. I'm not going for pineapple. Yeah, but please. We're not doing pineapple on pizza. We're not doing the pineapple on ham. You don't fruit the pizza, and you're not supposed to fruit the beer, okay? You just don't. Those are two things that don't need to happen. If you have to enhance it with the flavor of pineapple, which, by the way, is amazing, okay? But if you need to enhance it with the flavor of pineapple, you shouldn't be eating it anyway. And you know what I'm talking about. That's for sure. Ugh. Yeah, let's not do the hamster dance. We don't need to be doing that. I should use the time in the breaks if I'm just going to get to talk for advertising for job openings and Warhorse Legacy. I have job openings.
Mango cart beer. Is that like
No. Did you hear me say you don't fruit pizza or beer, and now you're coming at me with mango beer?
Well, Deb said that mango cart beer is so good.
Oh, yeah, because I said you don't fruit the pizza or the beer. Because pineapple is very flavorful, and I'm not digging on the pineapple, okay? It's great. But if you have to put it on other food to make that food taste good, then you shouldn't be eating that food. So
doesn't that go for anything like sauces as well?
you don't, if you have good pasta, you don't have to put, ravioli is ravioli. I don't have to have sauce, right? I can add sauce, but I guess I just, like, why do I need fruit in my beer or fruit on my pizza? Like, fruit is fruit. It goes with.
So you never put a Jolly Rancher into Zima?
Okay, I don't drink Zima. Let's start there.
So what flavor of White Claw do you drink, Erica?
Yeah, no, I don't drink White Claw or High Noon. I don't know. No, we're not doing those.
I've never had a High Moon. I've never had I have had White Claw. I will admit to that. And those were those were, I mean, they were good. I'm not like a regular drinker. I don't drink a lot of beer. I don't drink a lot. If I'm going to drink, we can talk about this, right? People are allowed to know you drink, right, Erica?
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't really drink a lot of beer or a lot, period. But when I do, I mean, I like margaritas, I like bourbon, and just like most of it's neat. I don't really um, I mean, I do like an old fashioned, I guess. But I recently discovered, I don't know why it's taken me so long to, but I recently discovered Red Bull and vodka. And I went on,
Oh, yeah, that's a thing.
my gosh, man. I went on I was on a business trip and everything was being covered. It was an open bar. And I actually am kind of curious just to see my bill when it came to Red Bull and vodkas because I kept that rate just running, man. I mean, it was like just bring me a jug of both with a straw because it was so good. So, and I love energy drinks anyway.
I love that. Yeah, Red Bull and vodka. We used to drink that and study.
Oh my gosh. I should do that and do the show. Like get up early on a Saturday morning and just start throwing those things back.
Okay, well, that's day drinking, and then your day is done at like 3 if you start drinking vodka at 7 o'clock in the morning.
Oh,
You just drink the Red Bull, you'll be awake. I mean,
gold.
instead of doing vodka with a shot of Red Bull, just do Red Bull with a shot of vodka, and then you'll be good. Otherwise, by the middle of the show, by the second hour, you're going to be laughing and just saying, "Go ahead, Erica. You got this."
There is a certain there's a certain way for people to tell if I have been like if they're not with me and I've been drinking. But I won't reveal that now because I won't reveal all the secrets about myself.
Yeah, don't give away your tells. God.
Hey, now you can't tell my tells if we do it like this either. You can't. You will never know if I'm pulling your leg or if I'm being serious.
Well,
I really like.
Yeah, that's true. I probably wouldn't know. Sometimes I could tell by the time. And if it starts with anything like, "So let me ask you this," then I know it's bullshit.
All right, let's start the second hour. Here we go. Welcome back to the breakdown, folks. Thanks for staying with us during that break. We've got Timmy the pilot over in Rumble chat. I think it's going to be Timmy the Dwarf if he walks on his kneecaps now. Dwarf does piloting.
Mini Timmy.
Dwarf does the flat Earth. So now I sent this to you earlier, Erica. All of these folks that Trump is starting to that he's nominated or started to go through their confirmation hearings. And I sent you this one about Pete Hegseth earlier today. It's a little bit of a long clip, but I want to play the entire thing. It's like 7 minutes long. And it is, I know it is Senator Warren, Pocahontas. So there is, some annoyance there for a lot of people. It's kind of like an earworm.
Everybody get your throw up bag ready.
So here's his testimony, and I might play a large clip of it. I'm not sure. Yeah, let's just start listening to this, and we'll kind of stop and dissect it. Here we go.
Thank you, Mr. Hexon.
Okay, why don't we have any volume? Here we go, because I muted. Here we go.
Thank you, Mr. Hexon. Senator Warren.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and Mr. Hegseth, thank you. Thank you for your service. So if you're confirmed as Secretary of Defense, you will oversee our military, including about 250,000 women who currently serve on active duty in the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Space Forces, and the Marines. And I have serious concerns that your behavior toward women disqualifies you from serving in this role. Now, I've been trying to get answers from you.
So she starts off like right out of the gate, like your behavior towards women disqualifies you from this role. So, okay.
I mean, go ahead.
Haven't wanted to meet or to answer any of my questions. So we'll just have to do it here and dive in. I want to pick up on some of the questions asked by Senator Shaheen and Gillibrand and Hirono. And I just want to make sure we have a list of some of the facts that I think are undisputed. I'm not going to talk about anonymous sources. I'm just going to quote you directly. We've got the video. We've got it in print. So going back to January 2013, you told a Fox News interviewer that women in the military simply couldn't measure up to men in the military, saying that allowing women to serve in combat roles would force the military to lower the bar. You picked up on that same theme in 2015, making remarks on Fox News, referring to women in combat as, quote, it would erode standards. June 2024, you said on Ben Shapiro's podcast, quote, women shouldn't be in combat at all. And then, of course, we've talked about it in 2024. You published a book, and you say on page 26 of your book, we need moms, but not in the military, especially in combat units. Page 48 of your book, you claim that women should not be in combat roles, because men are distracted by women. And then 10 weeks ago, you appeared on the Sean Ryan show and said, I'm straight up just saying we should not have women in combat roles. Now, I presume you recall making all these statements?
Senator, I'm not familiar with the article you're pointing to in 2013, but it underscores my argument completely, because in that 2013 argument, I was talking about standards. Standards are what it's always been about, Senator.
Have the same slide
always
again.
been about
I've
Senate
quoted
standards.
you directly. We've got the video. We're happy to show it. But I want to be clear here. For 12 years, you were quite open about your views, and your views were consistently the same. Women are inferior soldiers, sailors, Marines, airmen, and guardians. And in case anyone missed the point, and these are your words from 10 weeks ago, women absolutely straight up should not be permitted to serve in combat. And I notice on each of these quotes, those are said without qualification. It's not how much you can lift or how fast you can run. They don't belong in combat, period. Or your words, straight up. And then on November 9th, 2024, just 32 days after your last public comment saying that women absolutely should not be in combat, you declared that, quote, some of our greatest warriors are women, and you support having them serve in combat. Now, that is a very, very big about face in a very, very short period of time. So help me understand, Mr. Hegseth, what extraordinary event happened in that 32-day period that made you change the core values you had expressed for the preceding 12 years?
All right, we'll let them take a breath, okay? Because they're talking really fast. And I usually listen to things like that. That's how I get through a lot of stuff. But I mean, right. So she's framing the question here. She's like, hey, back in 2013, et cetera, we got the quotes, et cetera. She's bringing all that up there.
No, she's framing. Are we like 4 minutes into it now? She's still framing?
She's still framing. Like she repeated herself.
Okay.
She repeated herself. And so I'm interested because she brings all this stuff up. And she asks him, and his response is curious. So here we go.
Senator, again, I very much appreciate you bringing up my comments from 2013, because for me, this issue has always been about standards. And unfortunately, because of some of the people that have been in political power for the last 4 years, priorities other than standards, lethality, and meritocracy have driven decision making.
I'm quoting you from the podcast. Women shouldn't be in combat at all. Where is the reference to standards that they should be there if they can carry, if they can run? I don't see that at all, Mr. Hegseth. What I see is that there's a 32-day period in which you suddenly have another description about your views of women in the military. And I just want to know what changed in the 32 days that the song you sang is not the song you come in here today to sing.
Senator, the concerns I have, and the concerns that many have had, especially in ground combat units, is that in pursuit of certain percentages or quotas, standards have been changed. And that makes the combat more difficult.
Let me make a suggestion about what happened in that.
Okay, so, and I'm just going to throw this out there. Why doesn't he, because I'm sure there's a great majority of people out there don't think that women should be in combat and military. When she asks him these questions, she brings it up. Why doesn't he just say, yes, I do. I still believe that women should not be in combat, that they can serve in administrative and supportive roles for men to be in combat. But I don't think that this society, we should degrade women by putting them in roles where they have to fight these particular battles, ground war, etc. I don't think they should be there. Why doesn't he just answer like that? If that's what he still believes, I mean, just answer the question. Like, why is he?
Well, how do you know? Right? I mean, how do you even know what the end of the answer is? She starts with 2013. She doesn't even let him finish. He starts to say it's all about standards. It's really all about standards. And we lowered the standards in order to allow the women to serve in combat. And I mean, I'd have to go watch the Sean Ryan podcast to see what he said, but I would guess that she's taking it completely out of context. And it's all this is a beatdown. She should be ashamed. I've been around lawyers like her all day today, Aaron, and let me tell you what they are. They're dirt bags. That little lying, Indian giving, taking identity tramp is full of it. She's full of it, up to her eyebrows. She's not there to let him answer the question. And you're right, though. He should just say women do not belong in combat. And I agree with him 100%. They do not. Fight me. I don't care. There are reasons behind that, right? Obviously, I'm sure there's some stallion woman that's out there that's built like a brick house that can fight a guy and arm wrestle and wants to be a Marine. Okay. But I still don't think she should be, you know, hardcore. It's I think it's an ambush. I don't think there's anything that she even intended to let him answer that question.
And most of these are most of these Senate committee hearings and confirmation hearings and such. Most of them are just the opportunity for the opposing party to rip into the candidate and the supportive party to kiss their butt and make them look like they're amazing.
It seems like the obvious answer, though. Like, why wouldn't he just say, yes, I support that? But she's actually, the question is, why did you say for 12 years or 13 years that you didn't support it, and 23 days, but, you know, in the last time 3 months ago, you didn't support it, and then 23 days later, you did. What happened between that moment and that moment? He should answer that question.
Yeah.
And she should let him, because there probably is an answer in there, and he's not even allowed to get to it.
And I'm not, it does kind of finish here because, and I know if anybody's having trouble understanding this, I apologize. I put it up to a 1.5 speed on this. So instead of taking us 7 minutes, it'll take us 2, 3, carry the 1. It's less than 7 minutes. So here we go.
In that 32 days. You got a nomination from President Trump. Now, I've heard of deathbed conversions, but this is the first time I've heard of a nomination conversion. And I hope you understand that many women serving in the military right now might think that if you can convert so rapidly your long-held and aggressively pursued views in just 32 days, that 32 days after you get confirmed, maybe you'll just reverse those views and go back to the old guy who said straight up, women do not belong in combat. Now, Mr. Hegstaff, you have written that after they retire, generals should be banned from working.
So this next one is he did get her on this next one, which I thought was pretty cool. You know,
I mean, where was the question in there? She asked that one question, he never got to answer, and then she just made a conclusion.
He wasn't going to answer the question. That's I think what I'm getting to. That he wasn't going to answer it. He should.
Okay.
And because he had a couple of times, and he kept saying, "Well, that was about standards." Thank you for bringing up that article. That was about standards. All right. So what about standards? She should have followed up with, "Okay, what about standards? Are there standards for women? Standards for men? What standard are you upholding, which says X, Y, Z about men and women in combat, etc.? What are you saying? What are your standards? What would you implement? If this was really them trying to find out how he's going to lead, those are the kind of questions you could ask to kind of dig into that." But he didn't get a chance to answer the question because he didn't start answering it the way she wanted him to. And if you watch Senator, was it John Kennedy or Ted Kennedy? Not Ted Kennedy. Senator Kennedy.
I mean, that would be interesting.
It would be. But like, you know, when Pam Bondi was being questioned, he bloviated for like 3-4 minutes, whatever it was. He never answered a question. He just took up time. That's all this really is. It's grandstanding. But this this next question goes on. She's asking him, would you ever, pretty much, would you take a job in the military defense contractor? Would you take a job as a military contractor after you did this job because you don't think that high-ranking generals should do that? And he said he's not a general. So there's all that there back and forth. But then he gets asked this question by Senator Slotkin, which I think is a perfectly acceptable question to be asked here.
Defense, you will be the one man standing in the breach should President Trump give an illegal order. Right? I'm not saying he will, but if he does, you are going to be the guy that he calls to implement this order. Do you agree that there are some orders that can be given by the commander-in-chief that would violate the U.S. Constitution?
Senator, thank you for your service. But I reject the premise that President Trump is going to be giving illegal orders.
No, I'm not saying he will, but do you believe there is such a thing as an illegal order that Joe Biden or any other president, Donald Trump, could give? Is there anything that a commander-in-chief could ask you to do with the uniformed military that would be in violation of the U.S. Constitution?
Senator, anybody of any party
Right.
could give an order that is against the Constitution or against the law.
Right. Okay. So are you saying that you would stand in the breach and push back if you were given an illegal order?
I start by saying I reject the premise that President
I
Trump
understand.
will be giving
You've done your
any
genuflecting
illegal
to him,
orders
but
at all.
This isn't a hypothetical, okay? Your predecessor in a Trump administration, Secretary Esper, was asked and did use uniformed military to clear unarmed protesters. He was given the order to potentially shoot at them. Helos flew low in Washington, D.C. as crowd control. He later apologized publicly for those actions. Was he right or wrong to apologize?
Senator, I was there on the ground.
And
I saw the
I understand,
helo
and I
myself.
respect that.
I've been there.
But you're
I
about
understand
to
the
be
level
the
of threat
Secretary of Defense.
that was involved in that moment. I
Was
also
he right
understand
to? So he was
legality and the Constitution.
Sir, was he
and
right
the
or
laws of what
wrong
you
to
have.
apologize?
I'm not going to put words in the mouth of Secretary Esper or
No,
anybody else.
he said them himself. You don't have to. What are you scared of? Did he do the right thing by apologizing?
I'm not scared of anything, Senator.
Then say
I'm
yes or no.
interested
You
in
can say
upholding
no.
the laws and the Constitution
Okay.
in any
So
particular
Donald
scenario.
Trump asked for the active duty 82nd Airborne to be deployed during that same time. Secretary Esper has written that he convinced him against that decision. If Donald Trump asked you to use the 82nd Airborne in law enforcement roles in Washington, D.C., would you also convince him otherwise?
I'm not going to get ahead of conversations I would have with the president. However, there are laws and processes inside our Constitution that would be foul.
I don't understand the answer to that. How he answered that last question, Eric. Because I don't understand again why he just didn't answer the question. If I'm given an unconstitutional order or a legal order, I would not obey that. Why wouldn't he just answer that question?
I think it's a ridiculous question. You know she's baiting him. She's trying to get him to say that in the event that this criminal president that we're about to inaugurate gives you an order that we find to be illegal or we interpret to be against the Constitution, are you going to be on our side and stand up for it? I wouldn't answer that question. I would say there is no way that I'm going to conjecture about future actions or conversations or circumstances surrounding the event in which the president would give an order to use the military in the Capitol. There is no way that I could surmise the circumstances under which that would happen. And therefore, I could not tell you whether I would or would not execute the order.
So the question, if he asks you to do something illegal, your answer is, I don't know.
What are the circumstances?
Well, what does it matter? If it's illegal, it's illegal, right? This situation right here, I think is what they're thinking about. This is from October.
Yeah, but I'm the SecDef. I'm having a conversation. I'm not just turning around and walking out of the room. This is obviously a conversation in the same way that the previous SecDef had a conversation with the president and talked him out of a decision that he thought should not happen, right? That conversation should never have been made public. And the guy is a big fat you-know-what for apologizing. Shut up.
So I think this is what they may have in mind. This is from an interview with Donald Trump from Maria Bartiromo's show on Fox News Sunday morning back in October. Let me make sure this is, there we go, here we go.
What are you expecting? Joe Biden said he doesn't think it's going to be a peaceful election day.
Well, he doesn't have any idea what's happening in all fairness. He spends most of his day sleeping. I think the bigger problem is the enemy from within, not even the people that have come in and destroying our country. By the way, totally destroying our country. The towns, the villages, they're being inundated. But I don't think they're the problem in terms of election day. I think the bigger problem are the people from within. We have some very bad people. We have some sick people, radical left lunatics. And I think they're and it should be very easily handled by, if necessary, by National Guard, or if really necessary, by the military, because they can't let that happen.
Okay, so there's the clip that I think that they have in mind. Now, as somebody who's and again, I'm trying to be as consistent and equal as I can here. I've said plenty of things about Kamala. I've said plenty of things about Biden, obviously, and I've had my take about Donald Trump put out there as well. When you've got this situation where he says there are that the enemy is from within, and he's talking about leftists, he's talking about taking care of them possibly with the military, the National Guard and the military. I believe that this is what is in mind. Now, some people will say this is dealing with Black Lives Matter. This is dealing with the protests that were happening, Antifa, et cetera, that were happening back in 2017, whatever that was, 18, 19. Those protests that were happening there. This is what he's talking about. But he doesn't talk about that. He's talking about the enemy from within, the leftists in this country. This sounds more to me like authoritarianism. This sounds like someone that is willing to use the military against political opponents to try to stop what he considers the enemy within. Now, when you just said there a minute ago, Erica, about the fact that, on the left, they're framing their question by saying that if he decides to do something that we deem illegal, will you side with us? In this situation, I'm looking at this thinking if he's wanting to use the military against his political opponents, if this were Obama saying this or Biden saying this, I mean, we would be having a fit over this. We would be extremely disconcerted over the fact that political enemies could be silenced or taken care of very quickly by the National Guard or even the military. So that's
okay. So, but you went from talking about people doing something illegal and against the Constitution to political enemies. Okay, that's not what we're talking about. I would hope that in the event that we actually did have to enter the Capitol and walk members of Congress out onto the front lawn or in group, in mass, arrest them for what they've done to this country in large numbers. We may need military assistance and we would want them on our side. And I don't know that he's referring. I don't know. I'm tired of having of having not even the upper hand, but we constantly are wanting for it just because it's Trump and nobody likes him. It's not about the guy. It's about what we're trying to get back to. And we're a bunch of wet noodles. Even when we have control of any type of situation to make a difference in this country, to make it more like it adheres to the Constitution, to make it more neighborly, to make it more where individual places control their own destiny by helping each other instead of pushing each other down. We have to be able to stand up for the damage that they've done. And that might mean at the point that we're at, that we have to do something drastic. And I damn sure want the military behind me.
See, now, and that, I understand what it is that you're saying. But him making these comments is extremely disconcerting, because if we talk about fidelity to the Constitution, now, if there are senators, congressmen, congresswomen, whatever you want to call them, Congress people that have done horrible things, they need to be arrested. Absolutely, we can arrest them. But violating, I mean, it's an act, the Posse Comitatus Act that was implemented back in the 1800s after the Civil War, which was done to ensure that the North, I'm pretty sure if my history's right on this, wouldn't use the government to enforce laws in the South. But the entire idea of potentially using the military against your political enemies, because in this comment, he doesn't say, if we find out that that there are senators, congressmen, et cetera, that have been involved in the worldwide pedo rings, we're going to do whatever it takes to get them out of there. That would be the conversation. Okay, well, what can we do? What's legal here? What can be done? But this is like, he goes on to talk about how Adam Schiff is a terrible person and the Russia collusion hoax and all of that stuff. You have a guy that's talking about the Gulf of America and talking about, annexing Canada and getting Greenland and all this. And it's like, this is starting to get over to that worldwide leader domination.
Oh my God. I think
I mean,
I think it's brilliant. I think it's brilliant. And I think it's brilliant. We're going to get Greenland because they think he'll actually take it if they don't give it to him. They're already saying we're open to shared presence, and he's not even inaugurated. It's brilliant. I'm telling you, I don't think that it's not. It doesn't have to be that he would actually march soldiers into Greenland and take it. It's the fact that you think he would. It's brilliant.
I am not in this.
I don't see it the way that you see it. I don't feel threatened by it.
I get very sensitive. I'm just be straight up honest with you. I get very sensitive when political leaders start talking about using the military against us. You know how, I mean, and this is something that was talked about during Obama's administration when he killed American citizens with drone strikes. Even though they were on foreign soil, he still killed American citizens with drone strikes, and they were his war on the press. I don't
care. And nobody did anything.
I don't care. I know. And that's what also scares the piss out of me, because it was during the time when Alex Jones wasn't considered a genius, when he wasn't considered a prophet, when people were looking at us truthers like we were nuts, thinking that that 9/11 was an inside job or OKC was an inside job. They were thinking that we were crazy for that stuff back then. And we're talking about what, 18 years ago, 16 years ago, something like that, when Obama was doing these things, and we're like, hey, he can't be doing this. 10 years ago. He can't be doing this against the press. He can't be suppressing free speech like this. And Republicans and conservatives didn't say jack squat about it. They were sending our young men and women over to foreign lands to fight wars we had nothing to do with. And now you have somebody in office that's saying that they want to use the military against their political enemies. That scares the crap out of me. All right, folks, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, this and much more right here on The Breakdown, the theater of the mind.
I wish I could type.
All right, folks. This is one of my that's one of my favorite bumper tunes to use, and this one and the one coming back from break are my favorites. Let's see.
This being on my phone thing is bogus. I can't type. Anything I type in there only goes to you and I in the studio. It doesn't go to the group.
No way.
I have to be logged into Rumble, like as a person on, like in the chat, in order to be able to comment like that. It says that on my laptop too.
Do you have like an iPad or anything?
No, dude. Android.
Oh, you're one of those people.
Yes.
I'll be right back.
I can't type in the chat. I can only see what you guys are saying, which is hilarious because I really want to type in there.
Welcome back to The Breakdown, everybody. This is Aaron Barker with Misinformation Erica Sauer. We're continuing on this wonderful evening, and we're doing the old-fashioned radio with no camera and we're liking it so much. Hey, Rocky, I know you want to produce the show, but like, can you do it old time like this? We just have a picture up there. We don't need the image or whatnot. Oh, look at that. That's a really, I'm not going to read that question out loud. I'll get banned somewhere for something, I'm sure. But anyway, let's see. What else can we get into?
Oh, she asked him about fruit juice. He'd say strawberry, Timmy.
So here is where I fear a lot of this stuff. What do we have? Okay, there's Zuckerberg there. We got Zuckerberg to get into. We already covered bad theology and that. Okay. So here is, this is where I fear, and I know that you might, this might piss a few people off, but honestly, that's what I do. That's what I'm best at. This is where I fear conversations like the interviews like the one that Trump was talking about. It's where I fear that they're headed. Because in order for control to happen, in order for you to stop the devastation that's coming to a country, in order for you to stop your political enemies or those who are breaking the law, you have to increase mass surveillance to a scale where you monitor, follow, watch, and ensure that everybody is staying in line. This was actually released back in November, but it was after the October 7th attacks. And this is back in 2023, back in the October 7th attacks in Israel, which, by the way, if you saw that, I'm sure Timmy did, there is an Israel and Hamas ceasefire that has come into fruition. It says that mediators herald Gaza ceasefire and hostage deal. Israel says final details are in flux. So that is something that's breaking as of today. This is Wednesday, January 15th that we're recording the show.
And why did that happen?
When you say, so you're saying because Trump's about to take office. So
because he literally said they need to get it done before I'm inaugurated. So tell them by noon on Monday or bad things are going to happen.
So he threatens more war over a small country that causes devastation, destruction, innocent lives, and civilians. Okay, that's awesome. That's the president that we want. But after
I'm giving you the facts. That though I can't tell you that the two things are related, but both of those things are happening.
You know what it's reminiscent of? It's reminiscent of the Iran hostage crisis when Jimmy Carter was president and he was about to leave office the day, like the moment, essentially within a half hour of Reagan being inaugurated, they released the hostages over in Iran. You can't tell me that wasn't connected.
No, of course it was.
This whole thing is connected. But yeah. So what does it mean? It's going to get bad if they aren't released?
I don't know. It doesn't matter. All he has to do is troll them and they release the hostages.
So we're against fighting a war in Ukraine. We're against sending money to Ukraine, but we're fine with sending money to Israel. And we're fine with fighting their battles. We're fine with, I mean, that's just kind of the disconnect. I don't understand.
Wait, why is it? Hold on. Wait, why is it disconnected? Like, if we're against fighting in one country for one reason and for fighting for another country for a different reason, I don't know. Where's the confusion?
The confusion is, why are we meddling in other countries' wars and battles?
Oh, well, then I agree. We shouldn't be.
I mean, like,
why are we? I mean, it's not, it's for money and power and materials.
So I'm just throwing that out there. But anyway, so this was what Hochul was saying here was right after the October 7th beginning of all of this stuff, and she was attacking anti-Semitism, saying that there was a rise of anti-Semitism activity in New York, especially New York City, and she was talking about Islamophobic incidents and claiming that they were increasing and going underreported. So here's what she had to say. And this is where I fear that an administration that does not check what Donald Trump does could potentially lead to. Let's take a listen to this here.
Also, we're very focused on the data we're collecting from surveillance efforts, what's being said on social media platforms. And we have launched an effort to be able to counter some of the negativity and reach out to people when we see hate speech being spoken about on online platforms. Our social media analysis unit has ramped up its monitoring of sites to catch incitement to violence, direct threats to others. And all this is in response to our desire, our strong commitment to ensure that not only do New Yorkers be safe, but they also feel safe, because personal security is about everything for them.
So they have increased. Now this started again back in November of 2023. They have increased their social media monitoring and launched their effort to counter some of the negativity, and then reach out to people when they see hate speech being spoken about on online platforms. They have in New York something called it's called the Social Media Analysis Unit. It's part of the New York Police Department. And it refers to a specific piece of data or element that is being examined. So they actually, there's an application, there's a job application. For anybody who's interested, if you go out, the New York State Police has an application. And it's the New York State Intelligence Center serves as a central repository for the numerous intelligence databases currently being used by the New York City Police. It's an intelligence analyst 2 position that they were hiring for that collects various types of information, intelligence, and data received by New York police at the New York State Intelligence Center related to counterterrorism and criminal activity. They monitor, collect, and analyze open source information. Open source information is going to refer to your Facebook profile, TikTok profile, all your social medias, etc. there. It analyzes, research, and correlates criminal intelligence information, etc. So here she comes out with this big announcement. And she says, "Oh, well, we're doing this now. We're analyzing. Even if somebody is negative, any kind of negative activity, they're going to re-educate them and reach out to them when we see hate speech being spoken about on online platforms." Now, it is striking to me that stories like this. I didn't see this, by the way. It happened 2 years ago, over 2 years ago, or not 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, something like that. And I didn't see this. But she says here, she adds, if anyone thinks that they can get away with spreading hate and harming other New Yorkers and violating the law, you will be caught. You will be caught here in the state of New York because we are ramping up our resources to ensure that everyone can live freely. We have been involved in this. We'll protect protected speech. We will not protect people committing hate crimes, not here in Manhattan, not any borough, etc. Well, she actually has a logical fallacy there, because protected speech is all speech, by the way, but hate crimes are crimes against people. That's what you're supposed to do in New York.
I think
prosecute crimes.
right. It's a little out of context, right? Because I think that she was talking about Hamas protesters or a group of like protesters in New York City, and a opposing group of protesters came out and were not allowed to protest against the protesters. And she was deeming one group of protesters as hate speech while the other was deemed protected. And it was a big issue. So one group was allowed to protest and the other one wasn't. Maybe that's not what she's talking about, but I remember that happening in New York City.
Now, I'm kind of lost. Just clarify what you're saying there for me. So you're saying that she was...
So Hamas, let's say it would be like you have a group of Hamas people coming out and protesting, right? And then you have a group of, what would you call them? Zionists coming out and protesting against the Hamas protest. And the Zionists weren't allowed to get a permit or were accused of hate speech against the other protest group, while the Hamas protesters were deemed protected speech.
So you're saying that they actually prevented Jewish citizens from getting a permit to demonstrate?
Or a group showed up to protest the protest, and they were arrested. Were they prosecuted? law enforcement got involved, and what the weirdness of the situation, I thought, was that one side was deemed hate speech and the other side was deemed protesting.
All right, I'm going to put that in the parking lot as well because I got to find out about that. If first they shouldn't need a permit to demonstrate.
I don't think it was I don't think it was needing a permit for an event. I think it was that they came out specifically as a group to protest against a protest, and they were deemed as being like inciting violence and being having hate speech. They were just protesting the other group that was protesting. Right? Like, I'm pretty sure that was, and it was a big thing.
Well, I'm going to have to check that out because obviously that's a violation of their constitutional rights, regardless of your heritage. If you want to speak out against something, even if it's stupid, even if it's wrong.
But it still means what she's saying is absolutely wrong. You still have the government saying, yeah, we're fine with the cops coming out and saying that and we're going to monitor social media websites. And, I don't know. I mean,
yeah, and it's like the anti-Zion, what was it? The anti-Semitism bill that passed in 2024, and any of the terms that you use, like if you were to, we covered this on the show actually, and I'm trying to remember
yeah,
if you were
all
to
the words that you can't use anymore.
yeah, like you weren't allowed to say Zionism. That was considered anti-Semitic. That was the Anti-Semitism Awareness Act, and it was saying accusing people of being responsible for real or imagined wrongdoing committed by a single Jewish person or a group, which a lot of people said that was saying that when the scriptures talk about the Jewish leaders being the ones who crucified Jesus, that was going to be considered anti-Semitic. Dehumanizing, demonizing their stereotypical allegations about Jews, such as the power of Jews as a collective. So if you say that they run Hollywood, or you talk about the protocols of the elders of Zion, or you talk about the puppet master even saying something like that, that is considered anti-Semitic speech as well. And it says denying the Jewish people their right to self-determination. That is what the standard definition of Zionism is. This saying that the Jewish state is allowed to exist and they're allowed to have self-determination, which that's perfectly fine. But there's more to Zionism than that. That's not what Zionism is. But anyway, all of that, so they were really cracking down on it, but it isn't just about anti-Semitism. The fact that they are creeping around on your Facebook profile or your social media or whatever the surveillance that they have, if they see something that they consider negative, she didn't say hate crimes. She said, if you say something negative, we're gonna talk to you about that. We're gonna make.
But I thought we're going back in the opposite direction from where she is talking about a couple of years ago, right? I mean, not in London, in the UK, they're pulling up and arresting people, and they're actually threatening to extradite U.S. citizens for comments on social media and bring them over to the UK to prosecute them. Right. So I'm not saying that we don't suffer from a bit of a risk here. Okay. I would hope that it wouldn't go that far in this country. But I'm thinking that she's not on the side of free speech at all. And I'm hoping we're going in the opposite direction from where she is in New York a couple of years ago.
I absolutely agree. And and again, it's whenever you hear those types of phrases, a conversation where somebody's talking about surveillance or they're talking about persecuting someone that has a different idea than you, a different ideology than you do, someone who is your political opponent or enemy, that's where I start to get very concerned. My ears perk up and my defenses go up, because that is never good when somebody in political power wants to stifle their political opponents simply because they say they're the ones destroying the country. This is what happens when dictators take positions of power. This is a recruiting tactic for the KKK and for other hate groups like that, to use that term. But this is a tactic where you find a person or a group of people, and then you blame that group of people for all of your ills. You lost your job because of the black people. You don't have higher pay because of the Jews. You're not getting raises at work. It's because of the leftists. If you start demonizing a people group, then the next step is you create this mass swell of hatred and negativity towards them, and it becomes easier to manipulate someone because they are the reason that you are in the plight you're in. And that's very, I mean, that's honestly, that's despotism 101.
Yeah, it's also very dangerous. So let me. I almost said, "Let me ask you this," but I'm not. If you were okay, so let's say that woman standing there is today, real time, and she's standing in the White House at the podium, and she's the press secretary for the president, Donald Trump, right?
Okay.
And she's saying all of that, but she's directly talking about what maybe the reformed FBI is going to be doing, or what some changes in what they're going to be paying attention to and looking into closer when it comes to things they see and hear about the president, because they tried to kill him twice. That wouldn't really so much surprise me. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if there's an uptick in people being contacted by the Secret Service or getting a visit from them in the next administration, even to the extreme of like making a joke that they show up and want to have a talk because they don't know where to go, and somebody in their ranks they've already tried to from within execute the soon to be leader of the free world.
Yeah, that's
right.
Yeah, so you're saying that you think there's going to be an increase of government surveillance over speech like this because of what's happened to Donald Trump?
I absolutely think he's going to have a different sensitivity to it. There's going to be a different amount of attention, I would think, just by circumstances, right? I mean, look at what you've been a victim of, though that tragedy changes you in a certain way to have a sensitivity. I would bet that there are some pretty specific smells that you're not super cool with at this point right now, right?
Yeah.
So imagine how he feels. He's going to be a little sensitive to certain things, like people making jokes about offing the president. I mean, you're going to have a problem, and they're going to probably, or maybe not even jokes like that. Like, you're not going to be able to insinuate the same amount of crazy and just laugh it off, I don't think.
And again, Jay Sparkles made a comment here. She said, "Who gets to decide what is hate speech? Isn't it speech that's hateful and still free
Right.
speech? You'll never see them trying to make the N-word illegal." There's an inherent amount of risk when you take a position. There's an inherent amount of risk about being an American. That's one of the things that when you talk about the TSA, people are like, well, they keep us safe. There hasn't been any kind of terrorist attacks since that happened. Yeah, but I would rather fly with the risk and be free than fly with a false sense of security and have to be felt up when I go through the
Well,
TSA.
right. And especially because we all know that the government was responsible for 9/11 anyway. So why are they making us try to feel safe on the planes when they knew about the planes? It was all part of the plan. The planes were fine.
And I think
They're the ones who put the people on the planes. I mean, yeah, that's a bit of a like, you can stop covering your butt now because we all know it was you. We don't need the TSA anymore.
Exactly. And same thing with the shoe bomber as well. But everybody talks about, like Donald Trump, as soon as he got, as soon as he was hit by that bullet, he stands up and puts his hand up in the air and says, fight, right? So he does that. And there's this, he's an Iron Man. He's strong and he can take this and he's not afraid of anything, but we're going to allow him to take away our freedoms because he's got a little bit of fear that somebody's going to try to shoot him again. Well, man, you run your mouth enough and you become president, that fear, that risk is there. Like, it's there. So if he begins to politicize, or if he begins to go after a little bit more stringently people who make comments or jokes about this, and this is all hypothetical. We're just wargaming this or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
If he were to do that, then that means that those policies are going to stay in place, and the next president is going to go after that as well. And then it becomes like so many folks have been saying over the past several years, is a politicized Department of Justice where political enemies are going to be persecuted simply because they don't like the type of speech. Well, what you said could be construed as, so now we're going to place you on a no-fly list. We're going to put you in jail. We're going to take away your right to vote, et cetera, et cetera. So, I mean, the danger of that is extremely, to me, I would rather live in a country where there is, and I know you probably would agree with this, Erica, to a certain extent. I would rather live with extreme risk and be completely free than have a false sense of security and be in a 15-minute city. Because using climate change as a way to get people to fall into line and have carbon taxes and carbon offsets is the same thing as using somebody might attempt to unalive the president, so we have to monitor a little bit closely. It's the same mentality behind it. It's all about leading with fear and forcing support or forcing acquiescence via conversion or via coercion. So that to me, I see the same thing when you use carbon credits or the not you general. I'm not talking about you as in people.
No, I know.
In that arena. So I mean, it really concerns me when, even if you use something like anti-Semitism, which is thrown at anything, to be honest with you. And the one thing that'll get you shut down, but if you're accused of it, but using that against anti-Semitism or using that against people of color or whatever you want to call it, or using it against transgenderism, LGBTQ community, using that moniker hate speech, like Jay Sparkle said a few minutes ago, it's free speech. I should be allowed to call you whatever I want to call you. It doesn't mean I should be able to say, I'm going to break your neck. I'm not going to, but I should be allowed to say it because I'm expressing anger. It shouldn't be something that comes out of my mouth, but being swarmed and SWAT teams simply because you make a comment like that is Orwellian.
That should not. Right. That should not happen either. Okay. And I think being aware that we're in a situation where we have we have it on both sides, that we need to be keenly aware of what is going on.
Exactly. And so the other thing I'm concerned here is, this has got to be fake, by the way. I'm going to jump over to this, but I want to hit this real quick. This has got to be fake. This guy, I don't know who this guy is, but I saw, this is this dude. He posted something on Twitter. His name is Christopher Rufo. So you have this video here. This video is of a press
coordination with our federal and state partners.
And
how
you see
we
the person
can
next to it. He's
stop
an ASL interpreter.
The messages that are going out right now that are not being initiated.
He's interpreting this for folks who are hard of hearing. This guy actually says, I'm sorry, but we have to stop with the ridiculous sign language interpreters who turn serious press conferences into a farce. There are closed captions on all broadcast channels and streaming services. No wild human gesticulators necessary.
Wait, is he actually signing what the guy is saying, or is he making a mockery? Is he making a joke out of it, or is the ASL guy really signing what's being said?
As far as I'm aware, I don't know. I don't read sign. If anybody out there is reading sign, you can interpret what the guy's saying. But
otherwise, that is wholly inappropriate. That's wholly inappropriate. I mean, what an ableist. God. I mean, I would never. Yeah, that's horrible. That's a horrible thing to say.
Yeah, and I know that I know that there's some things people like, oh, Barker's woke. I know people accuse me of that sometimes.
Barker's woke.
is like, to me, this is beyond the pale. You know, the reason that they use so much emotion is because so much in sign language is expressed through facial expressions and through the motions that you're doing, because it adds the emphasis on. I know you can communicate without doing that, but there's so much that they're trying to communicate about about the tone of what's being said, so that people understand why they're saying something. If it's sarcastic, if it's serious, if it's somber, if it's lighthearted, all of that is part Timmy's comment. He said he is signing about the sex he had last night. I mean, and I'm trying to be serious here. I just looked down to see that comment. It's the only one that. But anyway, I thought that was totally absurd. Real quick before we take off out of here, Mark Zuckerberg. You've seen this stuff. Mark Zuckerberg. He was on Joe Rogan's show. He's talking about.
Right.
Okay, I want to ask you, what do you think about that, Erica?
I mean, what? Come on. Can we just not? I mean, maybe what? Maybe he thinks that he's going to get the traffic. I don't believe him. Do you believe him? I don't believe him. I think it's ridiculous.
I don't believe him in the slightest. I think he's positioning himself to be the what do you call it? The refuge. I know that the Red Book is like I think is what it's called, is where people are flocking to from TikTok to another Chinese app called Red Book, which will probably be the next one that they try to ban. But I think he's trying to position himself for people to use Insta and Threads and Facebook more. And I mean, whenever you have Zuckerberg who's saying that he believes the actions of Facebook were something out of 1984, that really tells me this guy, I do not believe him. I believe that he is full of malarkey. Whenever he is talking about, when he's on Joe Rogan, if you listen to that, of course, it's a huge show, long show, but there's a bunch of clips that are deposited out on Twitter as well, or X. And he makes those comments. He's like, it was, kind of 1984, it's kind of Orwellian, et cetera. And it's like, dude, you're using the terminology that we've been using about this from the very beginning, yet you still did this. You still allowed the Biden administration to force you to take down posts that they deemed were harmful.
I don't know why we would think anyone would think that he's reformed. I mean, or maybe they aren't around, except that Facebook is for grandparents, so I hear. However, he stole it.
Yeah, well,
he stole it in the very beginning.
If Facebook is for grandparents, call me Papaw, because I
know. I'm just telling you, like my kids do. But he stole it. He stole Facebook from the twins. You can read about it. There's a documentary about it. There's a book about it. It's really funny, and they're billionaires by the way. Now, the twins that he stole Facebook from, he's a dirtbag. Why do you think he changed? Why would you think he changed?
Yeah, for real. All right, folks, this is it for us tonight on the show. Don't forget to join us over on aaronbarker.substack.com, and also go to crusadechannel.com. Live radio the way it should be. Thanks for hanging out with us, and until next time, make Christ supremely valuable. I thought we had till 58 on my thing over here, but unfortunately we did not. Well, there we go. Well, thank you very much, Deb, for saying that. Great shot. Appreciate that. Erica, that was this whole ambiance of tonight is awesome.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I should forget my laptop more often.
Tell you what, this is really cool.
But okay, hold on though. I would like to figure out a way. Oh, well, I could still do it with my laptop, because my mic is way better.
Yeah. It would definitely, the microphone would be better. Yeah.
Yeah. If I had my mic plugged into my laptop, whether I use the camera or not, it would sound better. But yeah, it's just kind of cool. Rocky's not going to like it.
Yeah, I mean, I keep an eye out as well, everybody, for like an after hour show. I remember when I was doing the TikTok live, I just had my phone, I had my AirPods in, and I had my phone, set up, but I didn't have video. I just had a screen, just like a picture up there, and I was doing it. And man, that was so much fun because I was like leaning back in my chair and I didn't care what I was wearing. My hair was all crazy. Of course, I do that when the camera's on anyway, but regardless, it was just so I don't know. It puts you in a different headspace. Like when I raise my desk to stand, I'm in a different headspace. Or if I'm typing on my typewriter, I'm in a different headspace than I am if I'm typing on the computer. You know what I mean? Like different things put you in a different type of mode of thinking. But that's just what I think about it. So
No, I agree.
all right. Well, it's late and you've had a rough day, so I'm going to let you go unwind.
Yep. Thank you. I'm out.
It's awesome. And thank you, everybody, for hanging out with us. And I'm going to try to get the show up as well, so it'll play live again on Saturday. I don't know if it will or not, but if it doesn't, well, then I still appreciate all your support and everything. Y'all have a great one. And until next time, make Christ supremely valuable. Hold on just a second, Erica. Okay.
Okay.